Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I know we're a few weeks in, but this is our first Facebook Live of 2021. So we just wanted to wish everyone a Happy New Year. And as everyone knows, when we come into a new year, all the new resolutions and goals are coming to fruition. And, we actually just did a recent survey of our great members, our Moms members, and weight loss and healthy eating were definitely top priorities moving into 2021. And a really great way to turn those resolutions into reality is to improve our relationship with sugar. So today we're giving away some amazing prizes. Comment, let us know you're here, say hello. We're excited to have you join us today. Before we get started, just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Chrissy. I'm from Mom's Meat. And today I'm joined with Christina Cook. She is a registered dietitian. She's from Los Angeles, California. And she has really great experience. She has several years of hospital experience. She provided nutrition interventions for inpatient and outpatient populations. She has her own business where she counsels patients. And Christina now works as the health and wellness program manager with Zevia. So thank you so much for joining us today, Christina.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah. So before we get into it, as always, we wanted to just share some more information about Mom's Meat. So we are an online community of caregivers. So moms, dads, grandparents, anyone really trying to raise a better for you, happy, healthy family. And we connect you guys with brands that also have that same goal in mind to bring better for you products to you. So join for free. You can join at momsmeat.com to become a mom ambassador and sample free products. And as I mentioned, today is the event's brought to you by Zevia, and I'm so excited to, join the Facebook Live with Zevia today. They are the family of zero sugar, 0 calorie beverages, full of craveable flavors and refreshing choices. And during this event, we have representatives from Zevia joining us as well, so they'll respond to your comments. So make sure if you have any questions for them, post them in the comments and they'll get back to you. So as always, we have some really great prizes today. This one is super cute. Well, we have 5 lucky winners today, and they're going to get a really great ice cream float making kit. So here's an example of what one looks like. It's so cute. It's very colorful. In the kit, it has 2 cups, 2 metal straws, an ice cream scooper, an apron, and several Zevia VIP coupons and some swag items. So it's a really great way, to create some fun within your family. We're going to be actually making a sugar-free orange creamsicle float today. So make sure you stay tuned and check out the recipe. We'll have that up for you as well. And as usual, make sure you comment, like, and share for a chance to win. And we want to know, and I always ask everybody this, do you make New Year's resolutions? And if so, what is your 2021 resolution? So comment, like, share this video for your chance to win, and we'll announce the winners on Monday. So Christina, do you do New Year's resolutions?
I usually don't actually. Sometimes I pick a word and I just kind of stick with that, or I just kind of reflect on the last year usually.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have a lot to reflect on from last year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So.
This is great.
Yeah. And so as I mentioned, one of the things that is very apparent in the beginning of New Year is people learning more about health and wellness. And I actually recently learned a really crazy fact about America's sugar intake. So I always knew, Americans have a higher level of sugar intake. But I actually read that American adults consume an average of 77 grams per day, and kids are actually worse. They consume 81 grams of sugar per day. So to put that in perspective, that's almost 60 pounds of sugar a year, which is actually both of more than what my kids weigh right now. So, and yeah, it is. And the crazy thing is that over 40% of that sugar comes from the drinks that we're consuming. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know about you, Christina, but that's astounding to me. And as a nutritionist, what do you think about that? I'm sure it's crazy.
Well, right. It is crazy. And as you said, almost half of added sugar intake in the American diet is coming from just sugar sweetened beverages alone. And that's not including 100% fruit juice or milk. But that's a big number, right? So as a dietitian, for me, that's actually really exciting because that means that we have a huge opportunity to kind of make improvements in our diet. And really, we don't need to fear sugar. We just need to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, there's two types of carbohydrates. There's sugar, which is naturally found in things like fruit and dairy, and then there's starch, which are found in starchy vegetables and whole grains. Sugars just digest quickly and starch digests more slowly. So when we sort of think about it like that, we can see that there's a purpose for each one, right? The issue is that manufacturers tend to add sugars to foods and beverages where we don't really need it. And typically these foods don't have things like protein and fiber and all of those good micronutrients. So we just don't need more than nature is providing us. So at the end of the day, it's best to choose those natural sources like fruit and dairy.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you think of it like that, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, sugar's so bad. And you're like, well,
Right.
no, like it's not bad. You just have to know what you're consuming. And if it's added sugar, you have to read the labels. And obviously I know that sugar intake is linked to weight gain and also some serious medical conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes. Can you tell us more about why too much sugar is unhealthy for us? Is there a limit that we should be consuming every day?
Absolutely. So there absolutely is a limit. Based on the research, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons or 25 grams per day for women, and no more than 9 teaspoons or 36 grams per day for men. And then when it comes to kids under 2, it's best to keep as close to 0 as possible because they really need those nutrient-dense foods to fill their tiny bellies.
Yeah.
For kids over 2, no more than 6 teaspoons or 25 grams a day as well, and limit the sugary drinks to no more than 8 ounces per week. So that's just based on the research. And now that we're talking about it, I actually want to show you guys a visual, because for me, I'm a visual patient, a visual person. My patients love seeing the visuals as well. So
me too. It's more impacting when you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of sugar.
Right. Yeah. So I just have a little teaspoon here, and I'm going to show you guys with this sugar what that looks like. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So in my little Ziploc baggie here, we have 6 teaspoons of sugar. So per day, this is the recommended maximum for both women and children over 2. And then we have 7, 8, 9. Now this is the maximum recommended intake for men, 9 teaspoons per day. And while we're on it, I'm going to add one more. So 10 teaspoons per day. Just as a point of reference, this is how much sugar is in 1 can of conventional soda. So if you think about it, isn't that nuts, right? Like that just blows me away. This is more than the recommended intake for anyone.
Yeah.
And that's just in one thing,
Right. Yeah, and that's also taking into account that there, obviously, like you said, there's sugar in fruits and vegetables. So when you consume drinks or things that have added sugar, that's just adding on, and you're not getting the nutritional benefit, like you mentioned.
Absolutely. And you know what? We all know that excess sugar intake can lead to chronic disease, like you mentioned. And when you're having, those sugar sweetened beverages, you don't really realize how much sugar you're consuming. So it's really easy to kind of not even get full, but take in a lot of excess sugar and calories.
Yeah.
When we have a lot of excess sugar, that can lead to things like inflammation, elevated blood pressure, blood control issues. And when we have too much blood sugar circulating, the pancreas has to work overtime to release insulin that allows sugar into the cells for energy. Over time, the pancreas kind of gets sluggish, it's being overworked, right? And that can lead to type 2 diabetes. Diabetes is also a risk factor for heart disease. So, as you can see, there's, some issues with consuming anything in excess, really, right? So
yeah,
just understanding that. And while it's not completely necessary to eliminate sugar from the diet, it is really important to just kind of heed those research recommended amounts.
Yeah. So why would you say people are still consuming so much sugar if they're aware of the negative health effects?
Right. That's a great question, actually. And it's very nuanced and it's very complex, because if it was that simple and I just said sugar in excess is not that great for you, limit it, then we would all be doing it, right? But it's just not that simple. And, many of the foods that we grew up eating contain added sugar. So whether it's, the sugary sodas or ice cream or barbecue sauce or ketchup, a lot of those foods bring us back to a sort of nostalgia, right? So maybe it was in the summer, we were with our grandparents and our friends and we were having hot dogs and soda and ice cream for dessert, right? So there's so much that goes into our food selection, and it's not just, food isn't just a physical thing. It's not just all about physical health and nourishment. It's also about, cultural, spiritual, traditional, and sometimes emotional health, So, an example I like to give is, maybe someone's from the South and they grew up drinking sweet tea. Well, for them, sweet tea might be just as much of a part of their identity as it is, being from the South. But my recommendation is just look for those better for you products. Zevia has a line of 0 sugar, 0 calorie, stevia sweetened beverages. So if you replace that sweet tea with something like a Zevia organic tea, you still get your, sweet black peach tea without the added sugar, so looking for those products that really help you to limit the added sugar, where you get to keep the nostalgia and the flavor that you love. And ultimately that actually is what, leads to long-term health and weight management over time.
Yeah. And I mean, personally, I know when I eat too much sugar, I just feel like tired and sluggish. And it's crazy the effect that it has on, on me personally. But, and it just goes to show you how important it is to talk about it and to educate people, because consuming that much sugar really isn't necessary, especially since there's so many better for you products out there now, that have little to no added sugars. Like, I know I try to swap out sugar-filled items, like, it's simple things like pre-made salad dressings have a lot of sugar in it. So I try to make my own salad dressing, choosing fresh snacks and nuts over like cookies. Now, I still eat cookies, but I know that that's a treat, right? So I'm gonna go towards the healthier, better for you snack to fulfill my nutrition, right? Instead of fulfilling it with sugar. So what are some other ways that we can start to reduce our sugar intake?
Great question. So the first thing really is just equipping yourself with the knowledge, right? So we know those recommended, daily maximum intakes, but also, equip yourself with the knowledge of label reading, right? So you can be the deciding factor of, do I want to bring this item in my house? So first step is, when you're in the grocery store, before you even buy something, check the nutrition label. So this month, actually, all consumer packaged goods are going to have to switch over to the new nutrition label, which includes grams of added sugars. So that's really exciting.
Oh, that's
awesome. Total sugar. So it was natural plus added. This kind of helps us as consumers to see, how much the manufacturers are actually adding, and it's, adding a level of transparency, which I love. So first, look at the serving. So ask yourself, is this a realistic amount that I would consume? So let's say it's cereal or something like that. Say the serving size is half of a cup. If you look at your fist right now, your fist is about the size of a cup. So half of that would be one serving size of the cereal. Personally, I'm not going to eat just half of a cup, and I know that about myself, right? Maybe 1.5 cups, right? So
right,
eat 3 times the serving size. So we would have to multiply half of a cup by 3, which leaves us at 1.5 cups. Now, second, if we're going to multiply that by 3, then that means we have to go down the entire label and multiply everything else by 3. So if you go down to the grams of added sugars, say it's 15 grams, we're now going to multiply that by 3, which leaves us at 45 grams.
Wow.
So at this point, if we know that 25 grams per day is the recommendation for women and 36 for men, you kind of have to ask yourself, do I want to, over exceed that maximum on just, 1 serving of cereal? Well, 3, but the realistic serving size, right?
Right, yeah.
That kind of just equips you with being able to, choose, what you actually want to bring into your home. And for me personally, I'd rather skip the sugary cereals and the sauces. And just like you said, I'd rather have a cookie. I have a sweet tooth. So, it's not the end of the world if you have a cookie, but just choose where you want to get that from. Choose where you want to have your sugar allotment spent.
Yeah, I love that concept too, because, sometimes I'll look at a label and I'm like, oh, there's only like 5 grams of sugar in this, but then I'm eating like 5 servings, and you don't realize how much you're actually consuming. If you're just looking at that label, is like, you have to really consider the serving amount. So I never really thought of that before. So that's a great perspective to have. So tell us how Zevia can help with the overall sugar reduction.
Yeah, I mean, so like we said earlier, since half of Americans' added sugar intake is coming from those sugar sweetened beverages alone, it sort of makes sense to start with the hardest hitting area, right? 50% almost, that's huge. So for me, this is an easy one. With Zevia, you get that nostalgic, familiar flavor that you love without the added sugars, the calories, or the artificial ingredients. And honestly, for me, it's just an easy swap since you're not really sacrificing anything.
Yeah, for sure. My family and I have been drinking Zevia for probably like the last year. We discovered it in our local store, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I feel like I'm getting that like I'm getting that fix of, the soda taste with the carbonation and the flavor, but I'm not drinking all those added sugars. And
Right.
I feel good about allowing my family to consume it. It's just, and the amount of, you can see behind me are like just a couple of the cans. There's so many different flavors. I was like, I didn't even know that they made soda in those flavors. So there's definitely a ton of options to choose from. And, we're really excited to bring this, product to you guys. And if you are interested in trying Zevia or learning more about their beverages and their line, head on over to Zevia.com and visit their store locator website. So you'll be able to find the closest store to you that carries their product. And then you can also order on Amazon. You can order on Zevia.com. So lots of different options to bring that for you. And, like I said, my family is a huge lover of Zevia, and we love the fact that, you guys feel so strongly about reducing sugar consumption. They use simple plant-based ingredients and create delicious, refreshing beverages. So I love that plant-based aspect, because sometimes I find myself like buying sugar-free things, but it's with ingredients that aren't really like great for you. I love that about Zevia. I always look at the ingredient list and anything I buy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Zevia, it's actually like really good ingredients for you. Right. So can you tell us a little bit more about Zevia and the line of products that you guys have?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see our passion found throughout all of our products, from the soda to energy to organic tea, mixers, and our new Kidz line. We've got you guys covered. We have a can for every hand, a beverage for every member of the family, every time of day, and for every usage occasion. All of our beverages are 0 sugar, 0 calories, with no artificial ingredients.
Yeah, that's great. And we'll show you the Kidz cans in a second. They're so cute. They're like so tiny, and for tiny little hands, I think you guys so, and like I mentioned, it's super important for me to find a lower sugar or sugar-free options for my family that don't add more sugar into our daily diets, right? That's kind of the consistent conversation that we're having here. Is it's okay to have, some sugar, but it's those added sugars that we need to watch out for. So what would you say set Zevia apart from other sugar-free beverages?
That's a great question. So, most sugar-free beverages use artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame. Some people get GI irritation with those things, and just generally consumers now are looking to avoid them just as much as the added sugar, right? We actually sweeten with stevia, which is a plant-based sweetener, which is a part of the sunflower family. It's originally from South America, and it's 200 times sweeter than sugar. For me as a dietitian, one of the most amazing things about that is that it's more eco-friendly, because we can use less land and water when we're producing it.
That's awesome. I did not know that about it being more eco-friendly. So that's just more of a win.
Absolutely.
So just a few more questions before we start making our floats. I know my ice cream is over here, like ready for me to eat it. So, obviously hydration it's super important to me. I know it's super important to a lot of people. And staying hydrated sometimes can feel like a chore. I feel like if I try to drink a ton of water, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. So can Zevia help me with those goals of staying hydrated during the day?
Yeah, absolutely. Any fluids that you're consuming are going to lend to your fluid status. And Zevia is a great choice because, like I said, there's no artificial ingredients, no added sugars, and it doesn't hurt that they taste good too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people have a hard time drinking water for various reasons, especially kiddos. So we can really get that hydration boost by adding in Zevia just on top of whatever, daily added water intake you have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And personally, I always worry about my kids wanting to have soda or having too much caffeine. And I've been trying to find those healthier alternatives that are caffeine free, that are natural, that have lower added sugar. So are there Zevia drinks that I can share with my kids that don't have caffeine in them?
Oh yeah, actually many of our sodas are caffeine free, so that means they're safe for kiddos. In fact, our newest line, the Kidz line, it comes in 4 kid-friendly flavors in those little cans for little hands. They're lightly fizzy with ingredients that parents can feel good about. So as long as kids are hydrating with water, they can have Zevia on top of that, and that's just going to add to their hydration status.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Well, I think, we've talked over some really great information. I think we're ready to make the floats now. So I'm so excited to find this. So I know personally, like growing up, like to what you said, like it's just like a nostalgic thing.
Right.
We would always have like root beer floats, right? And I love them, and I want to like instill that on my kids too. Like it's just a fun treat. But I'm not huge on like giving them, like I don't want to give them too much sugar or soda, right?
Absolutely.
Ice cream and real soda, you're adding all that sugar on. So Zevia has this really great orange creamsicle float. So we're going to pop the recipe up here. It's super easy. Now, when I say it's super easy, like I am not a great cook and I successfully made this. So so it's 2 cans of the Zevia Kidz orange cream. So you'll see a picture there on screen there, and I'll show you shortly what it looks like. And then all you take are the 2 frozen bananas. So you're adding the nutrients in there. You take a 1/4 cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk and then 1/2 cup of the fresh orange juice. So you can take an orange, squeeze some fresh juice, and then you just blend. So once you have those bananas frozen, blend them together with the almond milk until it's like smooth and creamy. Place it in your freezer, let it freeze. You can, 30 to 60 minutes or overnight, whichever you prefer. And then in a separate container, all you do is combine the Kidz orange cream and the orange juice. And then you place a scoop of ice cream in the cup and pour that mixture over top, and you have your float. So I think we're gonna try that out here. And I want to show you guys the can. They're so cute. I love these little cans. I can never do this backwards.
Aren't they cute?
They are so really cute. They're like little tiny cans. And again, with just the calories and the nutrition, like I always look at that and I love Zevia so much. So I know Christina and I both made our ice cream ahead of time. So we both have like a glass here that has our banana and almond milk ice cream that's frozen. So we have this, and then all you do is take a 1/2 cup of that fresh squeezed orange juice. So I have some here. So we're just going to pour that in the cup here on top of the ice cream.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
I know, me too. And then just open the can and top it off with the cream soda here. Oh, I'm so excited. And you'll see, I mean, it literally can, if you can see it, you see that nice fizz. That's like my favorite part of a root beer float is that fizziness. And the ice cream's at the bottom, and then the orange mixture here, and then the soda at the top. And I just have like a couple of fresh oranges here that I'm just gonna be fancy and add on my cup. And then I have a little, reusable straw here. So, it's a great way to try it. So I'm gonna taste it and see how it is. I'm so excited. Cheers. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. This is my first time trying it too, actually, believe it or not. That is so good. That is really good. And honestly, it's just great to kind of swap out the ice cream because you're cutting out the saturated fat, you're cutting out the added sugar, and with the banana, you're adding fiber, potassium, and obviously cutting out the conventional soda, you're reducing all of the added sugar as well. So this is great. And it tastes just
Yeah. So the other thing, so when I was like on your website looking for this recipe, there were some really cool other recipes too. So you guys have a whole section. I mentioned behind me, I have like, you guys have mixers, you have teas, you have the kids soda, you have adult sodas. So on your website, you have really cool, it's broken out, like you have desserts and mixers and cocktails. So what are some of the other recipes that are like better for you options that are, would be good to make?
I mean, we have everything. We have everything from, salad dressings to baked goods. We have, other beverages. One of, some of my favorites, we have an oat milk tea latte. We have a Zevia Moscow Mule. So if you guys are interested in seeing more of these recipes, go to Zevia.com. Go to the community tab. Under blog, you'll find the recipes link. Click that and you'll find so many amazing recipes. We're always adding more. They're great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. And they're so colorful. Everything's so colorful. Like that's what I love. So, and it's so attractive to my kids too. Like everyone's just super excited to drink it. So, and thank you so much for sharing all of this great information with us. This recipe, this is so good. I'm definitely going to drink all of this up after we're done. And you can also find these recipes, go to Zevia.com, but you can find it on momsmeat.com as well. And if you're interested in trying Zevia or learning more, you can head over to Zevia.com. And we also have an offer code today. So if you use code MomsMeet20, you can get 20% off any of the variety cases. So that's a really great deal. And we want to hear back from you guys. Let us know what you found most interesting from our chat and recipe demo today. And remember to keep sharing your thoughts and comments in the section. So thank you again so much. Again, if you're interested in trying Zevia, head on over to Zevia.com. Make sure you use that code MomsMeet20 to get 20% off. And Zevia is available in over 30,000 retailers in the US. So they have great distribution availability. So definitely check out their store locator link and make sure it's in a store near you before you go out. And it's also on Amazon too. So it's a win-win. It's available all around. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to Christina for joining us. You provided some really great, insightful information. There's things that I didn't even know. So now I'm excited.
So good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember to keep liking, sharing, and commenting for a chance to win. And we'll announce the winners on Monday. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.